Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. National Investigation Agency intensifies search for evidence in dastardly terror attack in Pahelgam. India's External Affairs Minister Jaishankar appreciates global support, speaks to UN chief and other non-member nations of UNSC. US President Trump marks 100 days in office with Michigan visit, hails achievements and vows to make America great again. Trump's 100 days gift to US car makers, eases auto tariffs on foreign parts imports, adds tariff talks with India going great, expects a trade deal soon. Tensions further escalate in South China Sea. China conducts naval patrolling, accuses Philippines of creating disturbances. And on to the details of this hour. India has intensified probes in Pahelgam terror attack in which 26 people, mainly tourists, were killed on April 22nd. The National Investigation Agency team has recreated the crime scene and is meticulously gathering evidence from every corner. They're also examining the past contacts of mule operators to determine any involvement in previous criminal activities. Well, early on Tuesday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a crucial security meeting joined by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. CDS Anil Chauhan and the chiefs of the three services also attended the meeting. The high-level meeting was held in the wake of the Pahelgam terror attack. Meanwhile, all security arrangements have been put in place in Jammu and Kashmir to ensure the safety and security of all visiting tourists to the Kashmir region. The security grid has been well strengthened at all tourist places, hotels, markets and other locations frequently visited by tourists during their stay. These extraordinary security measures have been implemented following the Pahelgam attack. Earlier, as a precautionary measure, authorities have temporarily closed 48 out of the 87 recognized tourist destinations across the Kashmir Valley. Also, this measure aims to facilitate ongoing security operations and ensure the safety of the visitors. Well, another incident of ceasefire violation was reported across the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. On the intervening night of 29-30th April, Pakistan Army Post initiated unprovoked small arms fire across the line of control opposite the Naushera, Sundarbani and Akhnur sectors in the Union Territory of J&K. Well, the unprovoked small arms firing by Pakistani Army was also reported from their post across the line of control in Baramulla and Kupwara district, as well as across the international border in the Pargwal sector. Well, in response to these provocations, the Indian Army acted with restraint and effectiveness, ensuring the safety and security of the positions along the line of control. And DD India's Vishal Barasto joins us from Srinagar for more on this. Well, Vishal, with the National Investigation Agency recreating this crime scene and digging into the backgrounds of the mule operators, what key leads have emerged so far in the investigation into the Pahelgam attack?
Well, a very good morning to you, Lipakshi. Before I answer to your question, let me just inform our viewers, breaking news just coming in. Pakistan is also not relenting. It has started a fake narrative against India. Let me tell you that it is also spreading the news that after the Pahelgam attack, the GOC of the Northern Command, Suchindra Kumar, has been replaced by Prateek Sharma, Lieutenant General Prateek Sharma, which is not true. And it has been fact-checked because Lieutenant General Suchindra Kumar is on a superannuation today. He is retiring today, and Prateek Sharma, Lieutenant General Prateek Sharma, replaces him as GOC Northern Command. And now coming back to your question, yes, the NIA is conducting searches all over the forest area in the high reaches. 200 people have been detained and interrogated so far. There are house-to-house searches going on, particularly to uncover the larger network of the overground workers. Meanwhile, as I speak to you, the hospitality of the people of Kashmir and the support for the tourists who are still coming in to Srinagar and Pahelgam, which have not been closed, though 48 out of 87 distantly located resorts and destinations have been closed because of security reasons. The hospitality has not gone down. People in Kashmir are still welcoming the tourists with open arms. Meanwhile, security has been increased. I would ask my cameraman to show you. You can see the security personnel from a distance there. They are guarding the area. CRPF is also manning the Dal Lake. The security personnel, these are CRPF Jawans, armed Jawans with guns in their hands. They are patrolling the key locations, tourist locations, both at the Dal Lake and at the Lal Chowk. So security has been beefed up, but let me tell you that tourism has not been shut down by the authorities. The state government took a step because of precautionary reasons. 48 out of 87 destinations which were either remote, that could have served as a hideout for the fleeing terrorists or overground workers have been closed. Lipakshi?
All right, Vishal. So balancing act by the government being maintained there. Also, Vishal, in light of the recent ceasefire violations by the Pakistani army along multiple sectors of the LOC, is there any indication that these provocations are linked to or timed with the Pahelgam terror attack?
Well, absolutely. This has been 7 days in a row, and the ceasefire violation continues from Pakistan side, and different Akhnur, Doda and upper reaches. These all sectors are under attack from Pakistan, and also it is not only the line of control but also the international border, which has also witnessed firing from Pakistan side, and which has been retaliated by the Indian Army. Now these attempts are being made to distract the attention of the Indian Army and also the security forces, and also an attempt to either secure back the fleeing terrorists, or an attempt to infiltrate more terrorists into the valley. So this is going on, and Indian Army is on its toes. The investigation is going on. Yesterday you heard Prime Minister giving a clear directive to all the three chiefs, in which the NSA chief was also there, that you know what you are supposed to do. So the government is totally behind the security forces, and they have been given a free hand to secure the borders, to go all out and to punish the enemy across the border.
All right, Vishal, thank you so much for all that update. And meanwhile, the departure of Pakistani citizens through the Atari border saw a significant rise on Tuesday, coinciding with the last day of validity for medical visas issued to Pakistani nationals as per the Union government's decision in wake of the terror attack in Pahelgam. The validity of short-term visas for Pakistani nationals had already expired on Sunday. The Indian government revoked all categories of visas issued to Pakistani citizens except long-term diplomatic and official visas with immediate effect from April 27th, with medical visas valid till April 29th. And from the Atari border, we have Gurmeet Singh joining us from there. Well, Gurmeet, the Tuesday saw a surge in the Pakistani nationals leaving through the Atari border after the expiration of the medical visas yesterday. What's the latest you can give us from that front?
Lipakshi, as our viewers already know, that the deadline for the Pakistani nationals to cross the border has already expired. But today I would like to show you the latest visuals of the Atari border, where a lot of Pakistani nationals have reached here still to cross over the border. And in these Pakistani nationals, most of the people are there who are being deported from India. There's a lot of vehicles are lined up over here, which are from Jammu and Kashmir, and police is escorting these vehicles and carrying large number of Pakistani nationals to deport them to Pakistan. So you can see over there, just in front of me, that is the barrier which is there to whosoever wants to go inside the immigration counters or the integrated checkposts. The very first barrier has to be crossed. So BSF personnel are checking the credentials of the Pakistani nationals over there at the barrier. After that, there's a green signal given to all of them to enter inside the integrated checkpost. Large number of vehicles are queued over there. You can just have a look to the latest visuals of the integrated checkpost, where large number of Pakistani nationals have reached, and few people are reaching and approaching the integrated checkpost on their own also. There are few people who are on Nori visa and wants to cross over the border to Pakistan, and also the people whose visas have been expired, they are also coming in, and a lot of the Pakistani nationals are escorted by the police authorities. And most of the Pakistani nationals who are coming today, they are telling us, we just talked to them, that the local authorities, police authorities have contacted them and told them to immediately leave the place and reach Atari border and cross over to Pakistan.
All right, Gurmeet, thank you so much for all that update from the border. And India on Tuesday dismissed several pro-Pakistan social media's claim about removal of Northern Commander of Indian Army, Lieutenant General Suchendra Kumar. Several pro-Pakistan social media accounts falsely claimed that Northern Commander, Lieutenant General Suchendra Kumar, has been removed from his post after the Pahelgam incident, dismissing the claims as fake. India's Press Information Bureau, in a social media post, said that Lieutenant General M.V. Suchendra Kumar is attaining superannuation on April 30th. Lieutenant General Prateek Sharma will be appointed as the new Northern Army Commander. And India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar received calls from world leaders, including the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and his counterparts from 7 non-permanent member nations of the UN Security Council, condemning the April 22nd Pahelgam attack in Jammu and Kashmir. In a post on social media platform X, Dr. Jaishankar said, and I quote, "Received a call from UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, appreciate his unequivocal condemnation of the terrorist attack in Pahelgam, agreed on the importance of accountability. India has resolved that the perpetrators, planners and backers of this attack are brought to justice." Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the UAE, Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, also called Dr. Jaishankar and discussed the need to counter terrorism in all forms. Dr. Jaishankar thanked his Sierra Leone counterpart for their strong condemnation of the Pahelgam terror attack also. E.M. Jaishankar also thanked Algerian Foreign Minister Ahmed Altaf for the solidarity and support on the Pahelgam terror attack. Thanking Guyana Foreign Minister, Dr. Jaishankar stated on social media that they discussed the Pahelgam terrorist attack and the need to combat terrorism in all forms and manifestations. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar also thanked Slovenia Foreign Minister for his condemnation of the dastardly attack. Dr. Jaishankar also spoke to Panama's Foreign Minister Xavier Martinez Acha Vasquez regarding the Pahelgam attack. He further received a call from Cyprus Konstantinos Kombos for his support. And still to come at DD India News Hour. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal meets HSBC Group Chairman in the UK amid the bank's expansion plans in India. India to display the sacred Buddha relic of Sarnath in Vietnam for first time during UN Vesak Day 2025 celebrations. US President Trump announces 21 new F-15EX Eagle II fighter jets for Selfridge Air National Guard Base. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kuran. And moving on, India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal, who is in London on a two-day visit, met with Group Chairman of HSBC, Mark Tucker. During the meeting, the two exchanged views on strengthening India's integration with global financial systems and HSBC's plans to expand their presence in India. Later, Minister also met with Chancellor of the Exchequer of UK, Rochelle Reeves, and Secretary of State for Business and Trade of UK, Jonathan Reynolds. The leaders had a fruitful exchange on advancing India-UK economic ties. While Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal also attended a business reception in London, joined by Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Developmental Affairs, David Lammy. Addressing the event, Minister Goyal spoke about the promising future of the India-UK partnership, highlighting shared values, growing economic synergy and mutual commitment to innovation-led growth. And India will be holding for the first time an exposition of the sacred Buddha relic of Sarnath at Vietnam during the gala celebrations of the United Nations Day of Vesak 2025. India's Ministry of Culture, in collaboration with the International Buddhist Confederation, will bring the holy relic to Delhi today amidst prayers from monastery in Sarnath to the Varanasi airport. Upon reaching Delhi, the holy relic will be placed in a special protected enclosure at the National Museum for prayers, chanting and meditation by the followers of Dhamma, including eminent members of the community and the diplomatic representatives from the Buddhist countries. Well, the following day, that is on May 1st, the holy relic of the Buddha will be transported with great reverence, escorted by senior monks with full religious sanctity and protocol to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam by special Indian Air Force aircraft. Well, the exposition coincides with the United Nations Day of Vesak 2025 as it is being celebrated in Vietnam, an opportunity for not only the citizens of Vietnam to seek blessings of the holy relic, but also the international delegates from over 100 countries and regions who would be participating in the Vesak Day celebrations. And at least 14 people were killed and several others suffered burn injuries after a massive fire gripped a hotel in East India's Kolkata on Tuesday night. Well, the fire broke out around 8:30 p.m. at a hotel located in Burra Bazaar area. One hotel staff member died after jumping from the roof in an attempt to escape the blaze. After the fire was brought under control, firefighters and members of the disaster response team entered the building to search. During this operation, 13 more charred bodies were recovered from different rooms of the hotel. A special team has been formed to look into the incident and further investigation is underway. And President expressed grief, sharing on X. She wrote, and I quote, "The sad news of loss of lives in the fire accident in a building in Kolkata is very disturbing and painful. My deep condolences to the members of the bereaved family. I pray for speedy recovery of the injured," unquote. Also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed deep sorrow over the loss of 14 lives in a devastating fire at a hotel in Kolkata. In a post on X, Prime Minister Modi wrote, and as I quote, "Saddened by the loss of lives in an accident in Mandsaur, Madhya Pradesh. Condolences to those who have lost their loved ones. May the injured recover soon. An ex gratia of rupees 2 lakh from PMNRF would be given to the next of kin of each deceased. The injured would be given rupees 50,000, unquote. Another fire incident was reported in northwest Indian city of Ajmer on Tuesday night. The incident happened on Tuesday night when a massive fire broke out at a paper factory. Over 15 fire tenders were deployed at the spot and efforts are on to douse the blaze. No casualties have been reported in the incident so far. And moving on, U.S. President Donald Trump held a rally in Michigan on Tuesday to mark the first 100 days of his second term, stating his largest political event since returning to the White House. Speaking at the rally in Macomb County, Trump hailed what he called the most successful first 100 days of any administration in the history of our country. He also promised to bring back jobs to the United States and said his administration was ending illegal immigration, taking back the jobs and restoring the rule of law. The rally in the politically competitive state, the hub of the U.S. auto industry, was the largest event hosted by the Republicans since Trump's January 20th inauguration.
And we're here tonight in the heartland of our nation to celebrate the most successful first 100 days of any administration in the history of our country, and that's according to many, many people. This is the best, they say, 100-day start of any president in history, and everyone is saying it. And week by week, we're ending illegal immigration. We're taking back our jobs and protecting our great American auto workers and all of our workers, frankly. We're protecting all of our workers. We're restoring the rule of law, which was sort of out the window with this crazy guy we had.
Well, it's been 100 days since President Donald Trump began his second term in office, and it's been nothing short of eventful. At 78 years old, President Trump has wasted no time pushing forward a sweeping and often controversial agenda, impacting everything from the economy to immigration and international trade. Well, since taking office, President Trump has signed 142 executive orders, including 37 in his first week. He rescinded 78 of former President Biden's executive actions and has since revoked more than 100 orders overall. Well, on the legislative front, Trump's approach has been lean. Only 5 bills have been signed into law. Also, Trump administration is facing significant judicial scrutiny as over 200 legal challenges have been launched against various policies. Trump has issued pardons for 39 individuals and entities. Among these moves was an unprecedented broad pardon intended for anyone convicted in connection with the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot. Also, under the newly established Department of Government Efficiency, tens of thousands of federal employees have been affected. On the immigration front, U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported a record low of 7,180 southwest border crossings in March. In trade, Trump's tariff have raised concerns internationally, with a baseline 10% tariff on imports and higher rates up to 25% on certain goods. The average effective tariff now stands at 28%, the highest since 1901. Well, the annual inflation rate as of March has only moderated to a 6-month low at 2.4%. Also, U.S. President Trump has announced new fighter jets for Selfridge Air National Guard Base. He said that very soon they will replace the retiring A-10 Warthogs with 21 brand new F-15X Eagle II fighter jets. Trump said the next generation air dominance program will replace Lockheed Martin's F-22 Raptor with a crewed aircraft built to enter combat alongside drones. Also, U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order intended to reduce the economic hit from multiple overlapping tariffs on automakers. The move means that an automaker would not face both a 25% levy for an imported vehicle and 25% on steel or aluminium, easing the impact of its tariffs on the automotive industry, yielding to weeks of intense lobbying from automakers. Parts suppliers and dealers who want excessive levies could push up car prices, triggering plant shutdowns and job losses. In his latest partial reversal of tariff policies, Trump agreed to give car makers 2 years to boost the percentage of domestic components in vehicles assembled domestically. Well, it will allow them to offset tariffs for imported auto parts used in U.S. assembled vehicles equal to 3.75% of the total value of the manufacturer's suggested retail price of vehicles they build in the U.S. through April 2026 and 2.5% of U.S. production through April 30th, 2027. Also, US President Donald Trump is hinting a trade deal with India soon. Speaking to reporters, Trump said that the talks with India on tariffs were coming along great, and he thinks the two countries will reach a deal. Donald Trump had levied a 26% reciprocal tariff on India and had later announced a 90-day pause on the duties to discuss trade agreements with several countries. And for more on this, DD India's Akshay Dongre joins us from New Delhi. Well, Akshay, US President Trump mentioned that a trade deal with India is very, very close. What are the key areas where both sides can have common ground and by when can we expect the deal?
Well, the biggest problem between the US and Indian trade has been a trade deficit, which meant that India was exporting much more than it was importing from the US, and that had created a sort of deficit where India was exporting and earning much more than the US was. As far as reciprocity is concerned, the new Trump administration had not only raised this point with India, but several other countries, especially China, that the countries are exploiting the US markets, consumers, and are not benefiting the market as far as manufacturing base is concerned, the industry of the US is concerned. While various countries decided to get into a trade war or rather announce reciprocal tariffs on the US after the Trump administration had announced the tariffs on the Liberation Day, as it was called. But India has a different strategy. In fact, as soon as the tariffs were implemented or announced by the Trump administration, the Indian side said that they are not going to allow or announce any kind of reciprocal tariffs because it wanted a good trade deal, or rather a good trade relation in continuity with the US markets. So how does India, how does India plan to do it? It's not by limiting the exports to the US, but by enhancing the imports. It's not that India is not importing goods, but right now what we are seeing is that from mobile phones to automobiles to several other components that are used in everyday lives, from aerospace sector to other sectors across the economy, India has been importing all of these items from a range of countries that included China, that included Japan, Europe. However, the share of the US has been quite limited because of the rising costs. But now, to sort of maintain a trade balance, the Indian delegations have decided to import more of the US goods and bring somewhat of a parity as far as a trade is concerned between the two countries. So that seems to be the roadmap ahead. India has already been in talks with the US government, trade officials, trade representatives, and now it seems that we are just a few days far from a deal being signed between the two countries, which is going to foster an unprecedented tie between the two countries.
Absolutely. Also, Akshay, Trump celebrated the 100th day of his second term in office yesterday with a campaign-style speech in Detroit. How can we define his term so far, as he has consolidated his presidential power more than anything?
Well, yes, he has in fact consolidated his power. The government has been locked in not only in a tussle with the judiciary of the country, but also the Federal Reserve. We have seen Donald Trump directly has questioned Jerome Powell, who is the head of the Federal Reserve, to cut the interest rates to somewhat bring the economy on right on track, is what we have been seeing. The 100 days has been, more about Donald Trump asserting himself as the president and the powers that rest with the president of the country, and has been trying to move America in a certain way that he wants. As far as tariffs are concerned, these were unprecedented tariffs that have been announced across the world. We have seen trade deals are being announced by different countries. Different countries are in negotiations with the US. China has been cornered by the US as far as a trade deal is concerned and tariffs are concerned. But more than that, also there has been action on illegal immigration that has been emanating mostly from its southern borders. So there have been a range of steps that have been taken by the Donald Trump administration, and precisely on the grounds and on the direction that Trump had announced even before he took the office. So it has been consolidating powers, creating priorities straight for the US government, not only the government, but the US economy and the manufacturing sector, corporations as well. So clearly, as of now, in these last 100 days, there have been several executive orders that have been passed, and several have been rescinded that were passed earlier in the Biden administration. So it has been a sort of a groundbreaking 100 days as far as the US economy is concerned. Whether for good or for bad, that only time can tell. But from what we have been seeing, that the Trump administration has been actively making a lot of rapid changes to give a new direction to the country.
Absolutely groundbreaking 100 days there. Thank you so much, Akshay, for all those details. And still to come on DD India News Hour. 3 killed in Uppsala shooting as gang violence escalates in Sweden. US warns Russia, Ukraine of ceasing mediation efforts without concrete proposals. An India-Kiwi man hiking across New Zealand to raise funds, blending culture, community and cause. Investigation agency intensifies search for evidence in dastardly terror attack in Pahelgam. India's External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar appreciates global support, speaks to UN chief and other non-member nations of UNSC. US President Trump marks 100 days in office with Michigan visit, hails achievements and vows to make America great again. Trump's 100 days gift to US car makers, eases auto tariffs on foreign parts imports, adds tariff talks with India going great, expects a trade deal soon. Tensions further escalates in South China Sea. China conducts naval patrolling, accuses Philippines of creating disturbances. Well, updates on Russia-Ukraine conflict now. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio declared on Tuesday that the time has come for Ukraine and Russia to present concrete peace proposals or risk losing U.S. mediation altogether. U.S. State Department warned that continued inaction could force the U.S. to step back from peace efforts. Both Kyiv and Moscow claim to support progress, yet remain locked in mutual blame. Russia's President Vladimir Putin announced a brief 3-day ceasefire for World War II commemorations, but Ukraine criticized it as symbolic, demanding a longer immediate truce. The U.S. dismissed temporary halts, calling instead for a full and lasting ceasefire.
I do have something I can tell you that the Secretary said to me. We are now at a time where concrete proposals need to be delivered by the two parties on how to end this conflict. How we proceed from here is a decision that belongs now to the President. If there is not progress, we will step back as mediators in this process.
Well, the British military launched airstrikes with the United States targeting Yemen's Houthi rebels, their first involvement with America's new intense campaign targeting the Iranian-backed group. While the United Kingdom offered a detailed explanation of its reason to launch the strike in a departure from the US, which has offered few details about the more than 800 strikes it has conducted since beginning its campaign on March 15th, the US is conducting strikes on Yemen from its 2 aircraft carriers in the region, the USS Harry S. Truman in the Red Sea and the USS Carl Vinson in the Arabian Sea. The US is targeting the Houthis because of the group's attacks on shipping in the Red Sea, a crucial global trade route. And tensions in the South China Sea surged as China's Navy conducted a patrol in the South China Sea on Tuesday, accusing that the Philippines has been creating disturbances and carrying out its own patrols with other countries. Well, the standoff intensifies as both the nations assert overlapping sovereignty claims in the contested waters. Over 14,000 US and Filipino troops are engaged in large-scale military drills from April 21st to May 9th, drawing sharp criticism from Beijing, which labelled the exercises provocative. The Southern Theatre Command declared its forces are fully prepared to defend national sovereignty and regional peace. The leaders of Japan and the Philippines pledged in Manila to deepen security ties, including increased intelligence sharing as they grapple with territorial disputes with China. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, on his first visit to the Philippines since assuming office in October, said both the leaders opposed attempts to change the status quo in the East China Sea and the South China Sea by force or coercion. The two countries have previously signed a visiting forces agreement, which has been ratified by the Philippines Senate, allowing them to station troops on each other's soil. And Vietnam mounted its biggest ever celebration of the fall of Saigon on its 50th anniversary on Wednesday. The day's events culminated in a grand parade in Ho Chi Minh City, featuring marching troops and an air show with Russian-made fighter jets. The anniversary commemorates the 1975 fall of Saigon, when communist forces seized the South's capital, marking Vietnam's reunification. Communist Party Chief Tu Lam praised the victory, quoting Ho Chi Minh's motto, "Vietnam is one." And North Korea on Wednesday conducted its first test firing of the weapons system of the new Chohyun-class warship it recently unveiled. And according to the state media, cruise and anti-air missiles were launched and artillery fired as part of the test firing attended by leader Kim Jong-un and senior officials. A test of firing ship-to-ship tactical guided weapons, the ship's automatic guns, smoke and electronic jamming guns took place the following day. The North's leader stressed the need to perfect the warship's weapon systems for integrated operations in a short span of time. The Chohyun-class ship was named after anti-Japanese revolutionary fighter Cho Hyun. And 3 people were shot dead in the Swedish city of Uppsala on Tuesday as the latest shooting to rock the Nordic nation. While police confirmed that 3 individuals have died as a result of the shooting and announced that a murder investigation has been launched. Earlier, police reported receiving calls about gunfire in central Uppsala and stated that several individuals were found with injuries possibly caused by a shooting. The largest television broadcaster in Sweden, SVT, reported that witnesses said a suspect had fled on a scooter. Sweden has faced increasing violence in recent years, with shootings and bombings tied to gang rivalries, often carried out by teens under 15 who are below the age of criminal responsibility. And in the U.S., severe April storms whipped through the Midwestern state of Missouri, damaging houses and businesses, including a small private airport on Tuesday. Well, the National Weather Service indicated that the tornado-like touched down in Fremont Hills, located about 15 miles south of Springfield, Missouri's 3rd largest city, with wind speeds reaching 90 meters per hour. The storms knocked down trees and left tens of thousands without power. Severe weather is expected to persist through Wednesday also. And in central Peru, the residents worked to clear the debris and mud left by a landslide that claimed the lives of 2 people and affected hundreds. The landslide was triggered when a developing lagoon drained into the Casca River, causing it to overflow and unexpectedly forcing residents to flee. Well, as per the reports, 8 people were injured and hundreds were affected. During a technical field inspection, the National Institute for Research on Glaciers and Mountain Ecosystems confirmed that the incident was caused by the overflow of a glacial lagoon at the base at Valunaraju Mountain. They also stated that there are some 160 lagoons with the risk of overflowing in the Ancash region. Meanwhile, hundreds of people protested on Tuesday against Carlos Mazon, the regional leader of Valencia, 6 months after deadly floods claimed over 200 lives as the European People's Party Congress takes place in the city. Well, the protesters stated that it was disrespectful for the EPP to hold the Congress in Valencia, considering the hardships the region has faced since the natural disaster. They've been holding large protests each month, demanding Mazon's resignation from the Spanish People's Party. Also, the EPP Congress is happening just a day after Spain experienced a major blackout that lasted for several hours, causing widespread disruptions in both Spain and Portugal. Well, an Australian woman accused of murdering 3 people with the toxic mushroom-laced beef Wellington has gone on trial on Wednesday. It is a case that has captured global attention. The 50-year-old Erin Patterson was accused of serving the poisoned dish at a July 2023 lunch in Leongatha. Her former in-laws and a family friend died days later, while a 4th guest survived after weeks in hospital. She's pleaded not guilty. The trial, which is underway in Morwell, is expected to last 6 weeks. The case has drawn global attention and strict reporting rules have been imposed to ensure a fair trial. Well, cradled in the serene landscapes, Turkey's Eber Lake presently plays host to a graceful parade of seasonal visitors, bringing with them a flutter of life and color. Among these avian travelers are the elegant flamingos, locally revered as all turna, whose delicate silhouettes and vivid plumage lend a touch of poetry to the shimmering waters. Well, these captivating creatures are expected to grace the region with their presence for about a week, adding to the lake's serene splendor. Also, as one of nature's treasured wetland sanctuaries, Eber Lake continues to offer a vital haven for countless migratory birds on their timeless journeys across the skies. And now let's take a look at a story of Indian Brazilian spirit and nurturing communities. Here we have Anurag Sharma, an Indian Kiwi man who is hiking across the whole of New Zealand to raise funds for charitable causes, inspiring others to embrace wellness and purpose. Our correspondent Soumya Sharma brings us the story straight from Wellington, New Zealand. Take a look.
From the lush trails of New Zealand to hearts back home, this Kiwi Indian strides with both purpose and pride. Anurag Sharma walks 3,000 kilometers no less for noble causes worldwide. Let's hear his story. Turning treks into triumphs, Anurag Sharma, based in Wellington as an analyst, is walking Te Araroa, one of the world's most diverse long-distance trails, to raise funds for 10 different charities like the Breast Cancer Foundation NZ and Women's Refuge through social media crowdfunding and fundraising organizations. Hello Anurag, welcome to DD India. Let's go back to how it all started for you. I mean, what inspired you to take on this journey of hiking for charity?
Actually, it was COVID. We had a lockdown in New Zealand. And at that point, I'd only been hiking for about 2 or 3 years. I was still very new to it. And yeah, just discovered this long trail on the internet. And then I'm an analyst by trade, so I researched it all the way. And then that's kind of where it all started. 4 years ago, my mum passed away. So she was 58. And she was perfectly fit and fine up until up to the age of 40. And then she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and then over time her heart gave out. But once she passed away, I just sort of realized it's better to do it now rather than later and wait around, and who knows where I'll be when I'm 58, you know? So yeah, that was probably the main trigger for me to do it now.
Now, could you please just walk us through how the whole hiking for charity thing works? I mean, how is the money raised?
So actually, one random night, I just threw it on my Instagram and I asked my friends, I was like, what are some cool charities out there? And I got like, I don't know, like 30, 40 of them. So I just kind of researched some of them and some that felt sort of, close to my heart. Obviously Breast Cancer Foundation being an obvious one, and then a couple of local ones in Wellington. But then there are sort of ones that are helping more marginalized parts of the country as well. So yeah, that's kind of how the selection of charities came about, and it's actually been like a good added, like I said, motivation. Raised almost $6,700 last time I checked. So I've still got a little bit more, I guess, social media. So that's actually how I fundraise the money.
This is Soumya Sharma reporting from Wellington for DD India.
And still to come in DD India News Now. Global stock markets struggle for direction as Trump tariffs fuel global growth concerns. And Dembele fires PSG past Arsenal in semi-final first leg of French side takes edge in Champions League clash. And Waves 2025 all set to open on May 1st in Mumbai, PM Modi to inaugurate it.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Now. Lipakshi Kuranan on to some business news now. Shares struggled for direction on Wednesday and oil prices slid as relief over a potential easing of global trade tensions was offset by worsening economic outlook and door signals from corporates swept up by Donald Trump's tariffs. Well, the precarious state of the global economic outlook, particularly in the United States, left Wall Street futures struggling to sustain gains made during the cash session overnight. Nasdaq futures were down 0.6% in Asia, while S&P 500 futures fell at 0.4%. Euro futures swung between slight losses and gains, while MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan added just 0.1%. The Nikkei tacked on 0.15%. Oil prices also extended their steep losses from the previous session on worries about global growth and its impact on demand. Well, the Meta platforms on Tuesday launched the Llama API, unveiled at its first AI developer conference. The tool gives businesses streamlined access to Meta's Llama models, aiming to rival APIs from OpenAI, Google, and emerging players like China's DeepSeek. While pricing remains undisclosed, Meta is offering limited preview access with wider rollout expected soon. This comes alongside the release of a standalone AI assistant app and plans for a paid chatbot subscription. By offering its models largely for free, Meta bets on widespread adoption and innovation. Developers highlighted major efficiency gains in the latest Llama iteration, and CEO Mark Zuckerberg embraced a more open, competitive AI future where developers mix the best from all models.
If another model, like if DeepSeek is better, or if Quen is better at something, then now as developers, you have the ability to take kind of the best parts of the intelligence from the different models and produce exactly what you need, which I think is going to be very powerful.
Well, in a striking revelation at Meta's LlamaCon AI developer event, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella on Tuesday said that up to 30% of Microsoft's code is now being written by artificial intelligence. Speaking before a live audience alongside Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg, Nadella highlighted the transformative impact AI is having on software development, while Zuckerberg predicted that AI will handle half of Meta's software development within a year.
And so I'd say maybe 20-30% of the code that is inside of our repos today in some of our projects are probably all written by software.
Our bet is sort of that in the next year, probably, I don't know, maybe half the development is going to be done by AI as opposed to people, and then that will just kind of increase from there.
While CEO Brian Niccol said Starbucks will prioritize staffing over equipment, moving away from the industry trend of increasing reliance on automation. While Niccol emphasized that increasing staff is crucial to improving the customer experience, which has been his top priority. On Tuesday, Starbucks reported a 1% drop in North American same-store sales for the fiscal second quarter ending March 30th, though sales in Canada showed a return to growth. Meanwhile, Starbucks' profit margins have declined for 5 straight quarters. While you're watching DD India News Hour, time now for some sports news. Paris Saint-Germain seized the advantage in its Champions League semi-final against Arsenal as Ousmane Dembele sealed a 1-0 win in the first leg on Tuesday night. Dembele struck in the opening minutes at the Emirates Stadium, and Luis Enrique's side held onto the lead with a composed display that kept Arsenal at bay. PSG will head into the second leg of the semi-final next week as the favourite to reach the final against Barcelona or Inter Milan, as it looks to win the tournament for the first time. Meanwhile, Arsenal's first defeat in 18 home European matches was a painful blow to its own bid to win a first Champions League crown. While Kolkata Knight Riders defeated Delhi Capital by 14 runs, completing a sensational turnaround in a high-scoring Indian Premier League clash on Tuesday. Delhi Capitals looked in control of their chase of 205 with set batters Faf du Plessis and Akshar Patel at the crease. However, Kolkata star Sunil Narine took 3 wickets to turn the game in their favour. Earlier, Ankrish Raghuvanshi top scored with 44 as Kolkata posted 204 for 9 after 20 overs. The victory keeps Kolkata's hopes alive in the playoffs hunt, while Delhi Capitals miss out on a chance to go to the top of the table. And moving on to updates from the ongoing Madrid Open tournament, Aryna Sabalenka cruised into the quarterfinals on Tuesday following a straight sets win over Peyton Stearns. Up next for the former two-time champion in the Spanish capital is 24th seed from Ukraine, Marta Kostyuk. While defending champion Iga Swiatek reached her 5th WTA 1000 quarter-final of the season with a 6-0, 6-7, 6-4 victory over the 13th-seeded Diana Schneider. Meanwhile, in men's single, Casper Ruud claimed a straight sets win over third-seed Taylor Fritz of the United States in the last 16 match on Tuesday. Up next for Rudd is Daniil Medvedev after he fought from a set down to beat American Brandon Nakashima 3-6, 6-1, 6-4. Francisco Cerundolo stunned top seed in German world number 2 Alexander Zverev at the Madrid Open. Cerundolo will next face Jakub Mensik for a place in the semis after the Czech 22nd seed saw off Kazakhstan's Alexander Bublik. And India's first ever Waves Summit is all set to open in Mumbai on the 1st of May. The event will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Deepika sends us this report from Mumbai showing us the glimpses of how Mumbai is gearing up to host this mega event. Take a look.
India is all set to host its first ever World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit 2025 in Mumbai, which will bring together the world's leading media, entertainment and technology innovators at the Geo Convention Centre. The city of Mumbai is gearing up to make this mega event a grand success at global level. From Waves brandings on buses and bus stops to subways and areas spanning an extraordinary 15,000 square kilometers, Waves 2025 is all set to generate waves in the ocean of entertainment and creativity. The platform will cater to industry giants, creators, investors, and cutting-edge technology pioneers to converge, collaborate, and explore the future of global entertainment. Not only this, the summit will also host the Bharat Pavilion along with other state stalls, which will showcase their prowess in the world of entertainment and technology. With an aim to strengthen India's creative strength and amplify its position as a hub for content creation, intellectual property, and technological innovation, Waves will be one-stop destination for all industry stakeholders.
The stage is all set for the first ever audio, visual and entertainment summit, which is Wave 2025, which is already creating ripples all across the globe, because this is not only connecting business to business opportunities across the country, but going global with its across the world approach. And not only this, the event is all set to be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself, and already so many creators, so many curators, so many business associates are present in Mumbai to make this event a great success. This is Deepika reporting for DD India from Mumbai.
And the iconic Bandra Worli Sea Link lit up in the breathtaking display welcoming Waves 2025. Let's take a look at these visuals. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, I'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.